Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Popcorn Watchlist podcast, where we discuss and celebrate our favorites in TV and film. I am your host, Xavier, and once again, I'm joined by my fellow Popcorn Watchlist panelists. We've got, I'm going to do this in clockwise fashion. Thank you, Danny. We're going to start with Danny, over on the top right.
What's up?
It's like Brady Bunch squares, except I can't make that reference because these two kids don't know what that is. Zach, speaking to kids, down in the bottom right. Say hello.
Hi.
Wow. And then, as he recollects himself from whatever the hell amazing introduction that was, you have Anthony. Say hello.
Zeus.
Ares.
Ares.
Destroy my enemy. We're throwing Hercules and God of War references. Well, those are actually very appropriate references because we're switching it up and talking about a recent TV show that actually hit Disney+. There was a lot of hype around this show, hopefully that it would be a little truer to the books that it's based off of. And if that hasn't given you a hint already, then we'll just spoil it for you. We're talking about Percy Jackson and the Olympians. Pleasantly surprised by this show, but fun fact, the first thing I ever knew about Percy Jackson was that I was actually on a movie date with somebody watching Inglourious Basterds, and one of the previews for the first movie came out. And at first I was like, oh, there's like, a weird elevator, but then there was like all this lightning, so I'm like, oh shit, it's Thor. They're making a Thor movie. And I see Percy Jackson,
I remember that trailer.
That trailer.
That was the teaser.
Yeah,
right?
and I was like, he's going up the teaser up to from the Chrysler building, and then you get to the whole it's Olympus. And I was like, wait, that's Olympus. This isn't Norse myth. And I was like, oh, what the hell's a Percy Jackson?
What is a Percy Jackson?
And and I know who these Olympians
are. The Jeopardy question.
Yeah, what is a Percy Jackson? But I ended up watching the first movie, and I was like, okay, this is something. And so I didn't know it was based on books. And then a lot of people who read the books, I remember thinking like, oh, this is definitely different. They did one of these different things again. Just trying to cash in on like the young adult series, a la Harry Potter. But that was my first introduction to the Percy Jackson series. Date didn't go well, but fast forward to 2024 when we're talking about a sort of reboot or revamp of the actual book series, which now done in TV show form thanks to Disney+. I was a little worried it wasn't going to be so great, but turns out, it's definitely, some would say, a marked improvement.
When did the books come out?
That's a good question, Zach. Do you have? I mean, I know you read most of the books. I don't know if you know that.
Or
at
least the first one.
Well, I read 2 and 3 also, but that was like back in middle school. I want to say that the first book came out in like mid 2000s.
Okay,
if I'm not mistaken. Like I have the book right here next to me, but I don't feel like taking out of.
Yeah, tell us just a brief rundown of what Percy Jackson and the Olympians is all about.
Ooh, okay. To try to
not spoiling too much, like just general synopsis
about.
All right, so the book begins with. No. So the basic premise is that there's a young boy, Percy Jackson, who finds out that he has powers, and it opens up special powers. Opens up this world that he is a part of, or that at least his dad is a part of, I got stuck.
That's okay. We're gonna bail him out
again. Like you're putting me on the spot. Like
I was gonna say,
I did really well with what did we talk about like a few weeks ago, where I was like I nailed it. I was like super quick. Now it's like because there's so much going on with this one. But so basically, the kid finds out that he's like half god, and they go on a quest.
There we go.
We meet some Greek mythology
gods.
Yeah. It's based off of Greek myth, hence the references we threw in the beginning.
With Thor.
Not Thor. No, wrong one. Wrong mythos. It's a whole thing. It's like it interweaves, a young coming of age story with Greek myth. It done in a kind of unique modern spin. Fun fact: the original book came out June 28th of 2005.
Oh, yeah. Five?
Mid.
Anthony's gonna do that.
And
fun fact: Anthony and I had already graduated high school when this book came out.
Well, when did it come out? June. So we had
June
we just
28th.
graduated. We just graduated.
Yeah, we just graduated, dude.
And the books were
what 2010, the first one.
Yeah, the books were 05, 06, 07, 08, and 09.
Damn, every year. Right. Good for him.
And Rick Riordan was doing it, man. He's cranking them out. Good for him. I mean, overall, I've heard that the books are received pretty well. Again, Zach, you read the first 3. You like them, right? Like, they're pretty good overall.
Because I remember, because the second book was the first one I read. I remember enjoying that one, reading it in middle school. And the third one, I barely remember, but I remember like some key plot points that are going to be important. The second season, because it's going to be like important at the very end of it, and then how it leads into the third book, and then ultimately the third season. But I remember enjoying them a lot. Like they're books that they're made for kids and young teenagers. Like it's an easy read. There might be a word or two that might be out of your typical vernacular, but
it helps you learn those words. It's great. I love that. Yeah. I love books like that. That helps expand your vocabulary, helps you understand some themes, some great fun plot twists. But focusing on the show takes place for season 1 of book 1. That season 1 is basically book 1, which I think is great. I think Netflix and other streaming platforms have done this, where we're going to take an entire book and make it as one whole season, give it some good meat to the storytelling.
Which I think most, and I think
should be.
Yeah, I think most people usually agree, because whenever they adapt these large books or large series into movies, most of the time, if not all the time, people usually say, "Oh, I like the book better. They cut out so much from the book, and there's more detail." And it's like with a show, or even with however long the season is, there's way more time to flesh out the characters just like they do in the books, and you're not really confined to that hour and a half to like 2 hour, or if you're gonna go 3 hour window of one movie. So yeah, I would say for any long books like this season or series is probably the way to go.
Yeah, I think overall, like, I know Danny, you'd recently rewatched the first movie. How do you think the show compares to the movie?
Yeah, I just saw the show. I mean, I just saw the movie like literally maybe an hour ago.
Yeah, me too.
Just finished watching it. And, man, it just, after watching the show, everything is so fast paced here. And, like, there's so many plot points and, like, characters missing. And you're just like, what is happening?
Yeah, I felt like they was in the movies, like, we're at camp. Okay, now we're no longer in camp. Bye.
Yeah.
Yeah, the camp is, like, probably 5 to 10 minutes of like the first section.
Not
of the movie.
Even like 5 minutes.
That's definitely something. Like I liked how it was introduced in the show, especially after like the first episode is the whole setup for Percy realizing the reason he's special, because like Anthony said, it's about him being a demigod, and you go to basically a camp full of demigods, and you're sorted by which of the demigods I guess ran around and had kids.
And also, like, I guess whoever claims you, because even some of them, like, at least, like, because they go through a little bit more in detail in the book, that if you're not claimed, you typically end up at Hermes' cabin, because Hermes is the god, or one of his traits is that he's the god of travel, or it was a god of I think something like that, like god of travel or something.
Messengers and travelers.
Yeah, messengers, travelers, thieves. So typically, campers would go there first if they're not claimed when they arrive, until they're eventually claimed or not.
Also, I noticed in the movie, like as soon as he gets to camp, he finds out his dad is Poseidon.
Yeah.
And like in the show, I think they stretch it out a couple episodes, and like
maybe like half the season.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they get to
waited
well,
until
they get to
captured
the
flag.
yeah to the capture the flag, which is like episode 3, right?
Yeah.
Is it 2 or 3? We're out here.
I'm
Maybe
pretty
two.
sure it was.
Maybe two.
I want to say 3.
It might have been 2 actually. Yeah.
Remember, the episodes are
one-
about like
I
40
think-
minutes long.
Yeah.
I think episode 1 ended when he gets to camp.
Yeah, and I think the whole second episode is him at camp, because then the third one is the start of the voyage.
Yeah, it's episode 2 because episode 3
it is
is
too.
the. We'll talk about episode 3 in a moment, but yeah, you spend a whole episode at camp, which is again 40 minutes in camp, like
versus 5.
that's 5
Yeah, in the movie,
8 times.
in the movie, Pierce Brosnan takes him to like his own little suite. Like he has his own like room. He's like, yeah,
Yeah.
your father built this for you. And then within like the decor of the room, you see like tridents everywhere. And he's like, oh, my father's beside
Well, there
him.
was an actual trident.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
like
he had one
it
in
was
the
like
cabin.
in like on the outside of the whatever bungalow.
Like
that he was in.
surprise, you're
It was like
Poseidon.
leaning up
yeah.
against one of the pillars.
And I like that, like in the show, it made more sense about like, hey, there are the 3 big Olympians, like they're forbade to have other kids again, and so it makes Percy like special, but also sort of like a pariah and an outcast, and it kind of sets everything up perfectly to go on this quest where he, based on his friend at school, turns out to be Grover the Satyr, and then throughout his time at camp, he befriends Luke from the Hermes camp house, and Annabeth, who turns out to be a daughter of Athena, which is it's cool to see. But from there, like they kind of go embark on their quest. He meets a god already in meeting Dionysus, which was freaking hilarious.
Yeah, the camp director, I think I want to say is what he was, because Chiron
Yeah,
was
like-
the activities.
Chiron's Chiron is sort of like the teacher and tutor for everybody. And in Greek myth, he's actually he trained Achilles, and he trained a lot of heroes.
I think in the book anyway. I don't know if they mentioned in the show, but he trained Heracles or Hercules for all you people that don't know what the difference between Roman and Greek mythology is.
Damn, way to call people out, dude.
Because Hercules is the Roman name, Heracles is the Greek name.
Hercules.
This is not
Heracles.
how this works.
Just Heracles. Well, let's talk a bit about the casting. We're talking about Jason Mantzoukas as Dionysus, freaking being a sober Dionysus, which is really
I think they picked a great actor to play because
Yeah.
like one thing I will give the second movie props for is casting, because like Stanley Tucci, I thought he was great as Mr. D.
Yeah.
Because the way that I mean I don't know, I forget his name now, the one that plays Mr. D now, very similar,
Jason Mantzoukas.
like in how they
Jason
portray the
Mantzoukas.
character.
Burlo El Cunado.
And wait, what was the first one?
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
I can never say his
Go.
name. Like I know him from
His name is Jason.
Parks and
Jason
no, is it Parks and Rec?
Mantzoukas.
No, what?
Jason Mantzoukas.
Oh,
No,
Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Oh,
no,
in
that's
Brooklyn
Adrian
Nine-Nine.
Pimento.
Yeah.
He's
He was-
Pimento.
Oh, sorry, Pimento.
Oh god, he's so hilariously unhinged. God, he's
That's all I know him
hilarious.
from.
He was in some of the John Wick movies.
He's John Wick 3. TikTok, Mr. Wick. TikTok.
I vaguely remember.
Yeah, dude.
Then again, I only saw the movie once.
What?
But him as Mr. D was, I think, a great casting. Like having that sarcasm, because the character obviously in the book has that sarcasm, like, oh yeah, okay, woo-hoo, whatever. By the way, and then go into something a little bit more serious, but.
Yeah, no, because like it was a good way. Again, like mix a little bit of humor, but then also like that's the one thing I feel like the show did well was just like, hey, like these are still kids, but then they're also going through a lot of real serious stuff. Like this is like, yeah, you're on a major quest, finding out, going through camp, he finds out that his dad is actually Poseidon, and I like that they showcased his mom teaching him a lot about Greek myth. And it's like, why is he teaching me all these stories
Like growing
about
up.
myth?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, well, it turns out it's super duper important for you, Percy. Like, and you're named after Perseus, who is also a demigod.
Who dat?
Yeah.
I did like the who they chose for obviously the 3 main leads, the kids. because they definitely felt more like teenager, growing up.
Can we also talk about how like younger Percy looked exactly like Walker Scobell? Like
It is
like that.
Walker Scobell. Oh, you mean the one?
No,
No, like when he was
Oh.
younger, like younger.
I'm sorry,
version.
he already looked young to me. He looked like he was 12. But you mean
No,
like
when
the
he was like
5-year-old
8,
version?
like when he was like 5 or 6 years old, dude. Like he looked like
Yeah, I
just
can
like I was
see
like,
it.
holy crap. That's like the same thing they did with Echo. You had a little girl who played younger Echo, and then I was like, dude, they look exactly the same. This is perfect. Like perfect
Wait,
casting.
but I have no idea what actor you guys are talking about, actually.
So, and throughout
The
the
main-
show, you would see
the kid who's Percy in a TV show.
flashbacks of Percy being much younger, like maybe 5,
Oh,
7 years
gotcha.
old, and not
Okay,
12.
okay.
And
Okay,
it-
yes, yeah, he did look like. I mean, what if it was the actor's brother?
no, it's not. I looked,
'Cause
Like, I looked it up and
it was that pretty.
not-
like,
it's
spot on
not,
with the resemblance.
Popo Scobell or whatever his name would be.
Popo Scobell.
I don't know.
Oh yeah, but anyway, like Aryan Simhadri as Grover is great. He was delightful. Leah Jeffries brought some great command as Annabeth, showing that there's a lot of depth to her. And I think again, like a lot of everybody else cast was great. If we go into episode 3, Medusa, perfect Medusa casting.
Yes, I thought that was really good.
Jessica Parker Kennedy was great, and for the record, Medusa was right. Even though she was in the way, and they had to behead her. Like I think that's the reason why Athena was kind of half mad at the whole thing, because it's like, hey, they made us think about it, because Athena did curse the Medusa for all of that, because technically she had relations with Poseidon in her temple, but the actual Greek myth was that he kind of raped her, so that's why it's a whole like, damn, Medusa's right.
Hey, it's a show for kids, all
It's a
right.
show for kids, but Athena is kind of still in the wrong here, so yeah, I'm gonna say that.
But was it just Medusa, or was it also also her sisters? Were her sisters already like because I don't think they were all Gorgons already,
No, I don't
obviously,
believe so.
but
The only thing I'm aware of is for sure like the myth of Medusa herself. But yeah, I think do you remember how they fought her off in the movie?
Yeah.
oh,
Just
the
watched it.
With
iPod.
the iPod.
Reflection of an iPod. I thought
Oh yeah,
This
some
was-
product placement right there.
I thought this was much better. Like I liked how they did it in the show. The book, I think I forgot they used Zach. I don't know if you remember what they did in the book, but it was like not exactly. They changed it for the show. But
They used some kind of orb, I want to say, like some reflective ball, like an orb, and did it that way.
yeah. But in this one, they used like they hit her like the 1-2 surprise. It's just like, hey, turns out like wear this cap so we can't see into your eyes, and then swing.
Yeah, one thing I really liked about the show, like the pace of the show, is that you get like the third episode is the Medusa episode. So it's like pretty much every episode is like, oh, there's an episode of doing this part of the quest and meeting probably one of the other gods. And
It's almost like a
Figure
whole
it-
yeah,
chapter.
it feels
pretty
like a
much.
chapter of the book, which I'm sure it is like that in the book. Zach can say whether it is or not, but
I would say like 2 chapters for a lot of these, like 2 to 3 chapters combined for some of these episodes.
Yeah.
Like the one where they first meet Ares. I think that was like 3 chapters put into one.
That makes sense, yeah, because they meet Ares, then they go off to the Tunnel of Love,
Yeah.
and then they go into her. But yeah, like going through each section, like the whole section in the train was pretty out of hand, but you could still suspend your disbelief, even though it's like, hey, like these kids really cause all of that. Like, these cops are they're getting a little pushy here with these kids. But the whole section there at the St. Louis Arch was really tense. It did the right amount of tension building, especially with the chimera. Was it confirmed to be the chimera that was chasing them going up there? I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it was implied to be the chimera and the mother monsters taking them out.
Because
That was
there are some parts that I do want to talk about, like some of the differences between that and the book and
Yeah,
stuff,
go for
but, No, I was gonna say if you want to hold it off until the end, like we can.
We
do that,
can,
do
yeah. Like
comparisons.
just do a brief overview, and I think like you get more characterization, you get a more like lore building. You find out about the tree who happened to actually be a former daughter of like a former like daughter of Zeus that she ended up giving her life. Yeah, Thalia, like that. Her whole story I think was very compelling and captivating, and it gave a drive. We get the whole prophecy of just like, yeah, you're go to the quest, but then you'll be betrayed by a friend, and so like I like how Percy's like, I can't trust you guys, or I can't let you guys in too much because I'll be betrayed by a friend. But like he like still chose Annabeth because like if I'm gonna be betrayed by somebody, let me be betrayed by somebody who I know is gonna get the mission and the quest completed. So it's like, man, the kid's smart.
Like he interpreted that you would be betrayed by a friend in a different kind of way than what you would think. We get the proper betrayal at the end, but I mean those are two different kinds of betrayal.
Yeah, I like how
was more
like the taste of betrayal.
No, go ahead.
The taste of betrayal.
Go ahead. X, what were you saying?
Yeah, I was gonna say like I really enjoyed although it's like a young adult show or like a teenager show or maybe a little less like preteen show technically, like they deal with prophecy really well, and I think it helps because Rick Riordan helped co-write the show, so like help adapt it to a TV show.
Yeah,
so,
he was part of the writing, the casting
for the show, but he wasn't apparently during the movie, which I guess that makes sense.
Yeah,
the movie
that totally makes
the movie
sense.
has none of that prophecy stuff at all. None of it.
They saved it.
Wild.
Like I mentioned before we recorded, they saved it for the second movie, where it's like, oh, here's the Oracle, but it was a completely different prophecy. It was something.
Yeah, like
something else.
And I loved how the prophecy was delivered to Percy as like his like weirdo stepdad. Like that was hilarious. Like I was just like, of course it would. Like
they kept that from the book too.
Yeah, like that's really perfect, and like, cool. And I like the we talk about things. I don't know because the books always, I guess, like the artwork of the books had all like the Art Deco kind of stuff going on, and they still kept that within the show, like in the end credits.
Well, I wouldn't say not really because, I mean, I guess since we're recording, like,
yeah,
so this is like the original cover of the second book. Like, there's no Art Deco to it, like, nowhere, not even on the spine or whatever. But if you buy, like, the box set that's
like the hardcovers
published by Disney Hyperion, they have that Art Deco looking style like the show does. Which...
But, like, I guess, was that a holdover from, like, the movie? And they decided, hey, you know what looks cool? Art Deco. Like, let's keep it...
I don't think they brought it over from...
It's like, Olympians love Art Deco. They love the Chrysler Building. They love Miami Beach. Like, old school Miami... I don't know. Like, it was...
Like, this is what the books look like. The book spines, anyway.
Go watch
that
the
looks
video
like the
version.
show.
Yeah, especially because of the New York and everything kind of looks kind of really big.
For you audio listeners, Zach is holding up his box set of the books. So if you want to see how it looks
way to
like,
isolate
box set,
watch the video
hardcover.
version. Yeah.
Watch the video. Yeah, it's a shameless plug if you're not watching us. But yeah, like we go from their journey, how like they're trying to go on the road and go from they try to take the car and go off to from Medusa's to get to a train to get off at St. Louis, and then from St. Louis they try to like they hitchhike, and from hitchhiking they run into Ares, which I thought was also
Ares.
I mean, Ares is nowhere to be found in the movie.
Dude,
Nope.
Ares,
He's not even mentioned. Oh no, he's mentioned once because during the camp scene.
Because there's a
just like
Larissa,
the group of Ares is whatever Brotherhood of Ares.
Wait. Clarice is in the first movie.
No, I don't think she is.
Or they mentioned
Who's Clarice again?
But
No, I don't think she was
Ares'
mentioned.
daughter.
yeah,
No.
Clarice's daughter is Ares' daughter.
Nope.
But they do
Not in the
mention
movie.
the Ares kids in the
Yeah,
movie.
they're the
Only
Ares
because
kids.
they're like
bad.
they're like the group where he wins the capture the flag against them. That's it.
Yeah, like Clarice shows up in the second movie, but you see, like they saved everything for the second movie.
Why?
And it was
Like,
worse.
Because maybe they're like,
For
we're gonna
good
get a bigger
reason.
budget, so we're gonna add more things to the second movie.
And like the first one wasn't even like that. Hey, like it was like it made.
It was
money.
whatever. Yeah,
but
like it was
whatever.
watchable, but
Yeah,
It was decent. It was decent.
We've like
It was
it was like decent, but like then you go to the show and you're like, okay, no, this is significantly
Loads
The one
better.
thing I would say, it's kind of weird, but I still think I like the main three better from the movie. I don't know why. I really like Walter Scobell as a main character. But for some reason, even though I know this is how it is in the book there, Zach said they're like 12. They're supposed to be 12. But
Yeah.
in the show, I still just, I don't know if it had to do with the directing or the acting, but it just, for me, I didn't find it too believable that these 3 12-year-olds could do and fight these things off like they're supposed to.
There's a thing.
Like, it wasn't
I think
believable
Zach's
to me
gonna
that
talk
they
about
could, they
it.
could do
Zach,
all, like,
I'll let you take this point.
like,
'cause I
at least
think-
for me in the movie, even though they're not much older, but the actors they got in the movie, they're like, 16 to 18. They looked more believable in their roles in doing the fighting than these 3 kids did. But that's just how I interpreted it because, like, they're older, they look more believable, or maybe it's just a difference in acting style and directing. But
It's it's more to do with how so the way that it works is a lot of demigods have like psychological not disorders necessarily, but like they have like quirks, like ADHD being one of the big ones. So ADHD for because Percy Jackson has ADHD.
Yep.
and dyslexia,
the way they
or
explain
he
it,
called
and
it dyslexia.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, dyslexia is, I think, for pretty much everyone because as a demigod, because you're half Greek god, your brain is hardwired for ancient Greek, not English. And they mention that in the movie, I believe.
Yeah, they do.
And I don't think they mention it too much in the movie, but I know in the show and then definitely in the book, ADHD for a demigod is like their instinct, like that god instinct where it's like they want to fight, like they're gonna be.
They do mention in the movie.
Yeah, because they do like they think better on their feet when they're in like a high stakes situation.
So,
like I would say it's a combination of ADHD and adrenaline.
Like,
But
I
they
feel
don't really
like-
talk about
yeah.
adrenaline. They talk about the
So
ADHD part.
C part.
Grover mentions it.
That's your instinct.
Grover mentions it like once in the movie when they first get to camp, and he's kind of like telling him the lay of the land of the camp, and he mentions that to him because he's like, I don't think I could do any of this stuff that you're talking about because I have ADHD. And then that's when he says, it's like, oh, that just means you have like the natural instinct to fight or something like that.
You can do it. Yeah. I don't
And
know.
then
Like,
so that's why
interesting
even as a
point,
kid, yeah.
That's an interesting point. Like I found them extremely believable, and also considering that Annabeth, like, oh, that's the only like life she knows. So like she's all attuned to the mythical creatures. She's like honed in those type of little war games they play at camp. So and then Percy is just eking out by grit. Like he's not like looking like the old. He's not like Perseus or Kratos or anything doing this master of combat.
Kratos.
Like he's trying. Like he's trying. He's failing. Like he has faults.
Yeah, for me, I think it might have to do with the direction because it just seemed like, and maybe it's budget as well. It just seemed like, at least when I'm rewatching it now because I watched it today, like the actions that the characters are doing, it's believable. It looks like they were somewhat trained in some of the actions. Obviously, they probably had some stunt doubles, but it like looked like they were doing it and they were like it was proper. Versus like when they showed Annabeth in the show and she's like fighting off all the people like she did in the movie, it just didn't have that same like I guess like
Pizzazz?
ferocity that and like she like making it look like I can whoop these like 10 guys that are like that I'm sparring with right now. Like it just looked it looked more legit in the movie. But again, that could just be like we have a higher budget and we have longer to train these people to know what they're doing versus training this. I think she's probably like 13 or 14 in real life, training this actual 14-year-old girl how to do this stuff. So, but that's just me. But those are just like small quibbles. But
I feel like for me, I preferred the show in terms of those scenes. But like while I was watching the movie, I felt like some of the major action sequences, like with the Hydra or like I guess like the final fight, it had cooler moments that felt more believable. But in the movie, when they're doing like sword fighting or like at camp and stuff like that, I found that to be like very cheesy and like kind of like so it's a mix. Yeah, it was a mix.
Yeah. I think if you're able to kind of dissect like there's pros and cons to both, I think that's
for sure. Yeah.
For me, that's a win. That's a win for the show.
Yeah, I overall
is doing its own thing.
Yeah, overall, I like the show better just because it's like Like I said, the way it's paced and it tells the story better. The story of the movie is just like it's all over the place. It's nonsense, but like it's like sort of fun nonsense, but like fun cheesy nonsense. But the show is like, okay, here's like step by step by step by step, and it's like, and it has
You know the quest. You know what?
right,
Like,
you understand everything that's going on. It's not like, all right, here's camp, here's this, you're a demigod, here's this, your mom died, but no, she didn't, blah 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 blah. And it was like, what's going on in this movie?
Like, what's going on? Zach, do you remember in the Tunnel of Love? Wasn't there playing? They were like, you get the whole, which I thought was really cool. By the way, you get the story like Ares, Aphrodite, and Hephaestus. Like, do you remember if I think in the book? I remember reading somewhere that there was a song playing in the Tunnel of Love, which was like
in the show.
In the book, because in the show the song they chose was amazing. I remember just like looking along and like just like a slow clap. I was like, you know what, whoever's doing the show, good job.
I can't remember. They do mention it in the book. But I'm confusing it because there's like another song that plays when Percy gets to New York and goes up the elevator, and it's like, oh, they're playing a music of this song. But in the Tunnel of Love,
I know in the movie when they needed to go to Hades, they start playing Highway to Hell like in the car. Classic.
Yeah, that's hilarious. That's hilarious when they go to Hades.
No, not even
No,
in that
it was
part.
for Medusa.
It was before they go to Tennessee that they play Highway to Hell.
Are you sure? I'm pretty sure
Not
it
even
was
when
when
they're
they
going
were
to California.
I'm pretty sure it was when they were going to Hades.
No. It was when they were driving from New York to Tennessee to go to the Parthenon. That's when they played Highway to Hell. Yes.
I gotta rewatch it. I just watched it like a couple hours ago. I could have sworn it was.
Yeah,
right
it
before
definitely wasn't when they got to Hades, but it was before, for sure.
Yeah, it was definitely way before. It was like, again, like that first part of the quest.
Oh, okay. I think I know why. I think it's because when they first start the quest is, oh, I need to go to Hades to save my mom. Okay, now we need to go to these 3 places first. So I think like when they were going to the first place, they started playing Highway to Hell because that was like their first like main endpoint. That might have been what it was. But you know what? They were probably in the scene that you guys are talking about. They were probably playing "Take on Me."
Oh God, no! Or I Need a Hero.
Yeah.
No, make it stop. No. So yeah, the whole Tunnel of Love sequence, you get the story of Hephaestus, and obviously, yeah, you're supposed to feel bad for Hephaestus because in the Greek myth, yeah, it's kind of sad. I don't remember, but in the show, they're out here playing like a remix version of "What Is Love" by Hathaway.
Oh, nice!
Freaking great! I was like, this.
Wait,
is
where
great.
in the book?
In the show.
Oh, in the show.
Yeah, they're playing.
Oh, yes.
I was like, dude, this is great. Like, and like that. And what was great is the casting for Hephaestus. If you've ever watched Psych, oh man, that was a great little.
You know where I know him from? The Luck of the Irish.
No. The Luck of the. Oh,
he's the bad guy.
He is the bad guy. He's the freaking other bad.
The Luck of the Irish.
Who was the bad guy?
Go on Disney Plus.
He's talking about
Disney
Timothy
original
Aldmanson.
movie.
Timothy Aldmanson, like, I need him to be in more things.
The Luck of the Irish.
See that movie? That movie I did see.
Yeah.
That's the Disney Channel one, right?
Yes.
Correct.
That one I've seen a few times.
Freaking Luck of the Irish. When did that come out? Holy crap! I'm trying to remember.
Probably like 98 or something, 99.
98, 99. Dude, 2001.
Nice.
Freaking 2001. Anyway, yeah, that whole sequence is great. Talking about also Ares, like Adam Copeland, also known as Edge. Freaking amazing. I like half expected Menolingus to start playing, but I don't know if they have the rights to do that. But I think he did great. Like, he's been doing a lot of acting stuff for the past like 6-7 years or so. He did a really, like, I think he did a fine job, pretty fine job. Like, I think, hopefully the show gets more seasons, if Ares is a recurring character, I'm all about it. Like
Megan Mullally was one of the Furies.
Yeah, she was Electo. The one about with pain and stuff. I remember when they were fighting off the Furies. I'm like, they're not dead, are they? And it turns out, yeah, they're not dead because they're like primordial things. But that was dope.
How about Poseidon himself?
Toby Stevens. Yo, you mean Captain Flint?
Go watch Black Sails.
Again,
Black
you had
Sails.
Jessica Parker Kennedy and Toby Stevens.
It's on Netflix. Anybody's interested? If anybody likes
Black
pirates,
Sails.
and if you want to see like an adult HBO style type pirate show, watch Black Sails.
If you ever watched Treasure Island and you're like, man, I wish this had like the gritty realistic treatment, or if if you're of a particular thing, the guy who played who's this guy who played I mean, like, everybody was crazy jacked, but like if you like Umbrella Academy, Billy Bones is the guy who plays number one. Also, if I remember correctly, no, not Jack
Tom
Rackham.
Hopper.
Anyway,
right?
yeah, Tom Hopper. Yeah.
Oh,
Tom
but you mean his
Hopper's-
character in Umbrella Academy?
Yeah,
Oh, I don't remember his name.
which I'm forgetting, but like I my whole thing is that I can't do. My sister's gonna kill me if I don't mention this. Lin-Manuel Miranda has Hermes. Freaking great. Freaking great. I like how they go to Vegas and like they cause a minor traffic incident with all the animals just so they can sneak out and get back in.
Luther.
Yeah, he's
from
Luther in Umbrella
Umbrella
Academy. Correct. Yeah, dude. I think that whole episode with Hermes is cool because like they talk about Luke and he's just like, wait, Luke? Like, yeah, like you can tell he's like he really wants to like be with like get to know him, and he's like, no, but your dad told me that it would just end and it would end really badly. And I was like, damn, he's right. Like, and it's even cool like, and then as we finally realize of course he's Poseidon, he has his powers of Poseidon and claim, but also like you get that flashback where he actually has a chance where he runs into Percy's mom, and he's like, oh, do you want to meet him? And he's like, no. Like it was cool because at first the whole show and you're seeing Percy getting really resentful. It's like, you were never there for my mom, we suffered, we all this stuff. Like, why should I want his blessing? Like, and like Percy was asking the real questions. Like, no, like I'm not gonna be perpetuate this cycle of like gods fighting gods and all the petty squabbles. Like, I want to be better than this. Like, we can be better than this. And especially like his upbringing helped him realize a lot of that, and you saw that from the character, from the writing, but also the acting I think was really good. But it also was believable when you finally meet Poseidon and he's this like, oh, he's going to war with Zeus because somebody stole the lightning bolt, the master bolt, and it's like you can tell he's still wanting to break in and try to take like get to know his son and actually be there for him. Like you can tell it hurts him to not be there. So
Yeah, I like how.
great job by Toby Stevens.
Yeah,
Great job.
I like
Great
how
job.
in the the difference from the movie and the show. In the movie, you only get maybe a few scenes of like Poseidon whispering or talking to Percy, and then maybe 2 times where like he helps him out, like, oh, touch the water, it heals you, or by the end of the movie where like he helps him
He's like,
utilize his
"Go to the
powers.
water."
Yeah, but I like how throughout the show, since we have a longer time with all these characters, every like maybe 2 episodes, every couple episodes, it's like little by little you see like the powers start coming to Percy, and he starts understanding like, oh wow, I can actually like manipulate water, and like it starts escalating, and like by the end, he has way more control of the ocean, and it's, I like it a lot better that way than, even though the scene at the end of the first movie is cool, the way it looks, but it's like, again, very fast, like out of nowhere. It's like, oh, he's using all this power now to beat the bad guy.
Yeah.
And
How do we like? Yeah, go ahead, Danny.
I was gonna say in regards to like time, like having things build up and like feeling the runtime compared to the movie, how everything's so fast paced. Like with Lin-Manuel Miranda and like the Vegas scenes, like you're there in the casino or hotel, and obviously you're supposed to be there for a long time. In the movie,
I love that. Yeah.
In the movie, it felt like 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's like a 5 or 10 minute sequence.
Again, but obviously they're there for like 3
Versus-
days.
This is a 40-minute episode.
You're
Yeah,
a whole episode there, and you get like different conversations. Like you're actually there interacting. Getting this Grover sidelined by, the character, and just it did feel more of a runtime. So
You know what's funny? Fun fact: I was looking through some of the casting again. Like, yeah, you get more timing to go through it, but like, and then it makes sense because then even the show allowed like parts of their journey to be like the sort of like opener for the entire episode. Like when they finally found the gateway after they used Hermes' cab to get to the gate to the underworld, because there's supposed to be a whole lot of them. When they get to Krusty's like mattress shop, Pro Krusty's, she's like, "I know who you are." Like, fun fact is the guy who plays Krusty played the ferryman in the Percy Jackson movie.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
Yeah, so I was like, little stuff like that. But
that's the only guy they could get back. They couldn't get Chris Brosnan or anybody else back.
I don't know. You know what I'll say is, I know Kevin McKidd was Poseidon, but Toby Stevens is a big improvement. Like I mean, Anthony and I have a predilection to Toby Stevens because he's in so many cool things. He was also the bad guy in Die Another Day, which is pretty damn cool. But like, he did a fine job. But like, I don't know, like the rest of the casting, like was it Jake Duplass who played Hades? Like, I liked the spin and obviously the plot twist when it came to Hades about like the whole idea. I was like, no, I'm not here. Like, your mom's here, but I didn't steal the bolt. I don't know what's going on. And we get to finally realize that like it was all kind of like planted on Percy and his quest to get it to Kronos. That's the whole like, and it sets up like the overarching like big bad of the entire series, which again, like as a show, it did this really well. And like, oh snap, this is happening. Like, it's building up for this confrontation. So it's almost like in the first Harry Potter movie and book, like you understand like, oh, Voldemort's still around, and this is him, and he's trying to make his comeback. Same thing with Kronos. He's trying to make his comeback. And that leads Percy to finally like, oh, I have this. What? Sauron? Yeah, trying to make his comeback.
Sauron trying to make his comeback.
Yeah. The One Ring, the Master Bolt. And then, we finally get to, he goes to New York, and by he, I mean Percy. Oh, wait, I forgot to talk about Hades, Cerberus. The Cerberus sequence, I thought was nice.
Cerberus, Hades. What happened after that? And then right after that, he goes back and then has to fight Ares, right?
Yeah. What was really dope, too,
on
was
the beach area,
on the beach. But before that, do you remember when they talked about, oh, snap, Kronos is manipulating everything? Uh-huh. And then once Hades heard that, he's like, no, give me the bolt. I need the bolt. Like, I need everything in my power. We can't have this guy come back. Like, it's this, you could tell how serious it
And
was.
I like that scene, too, because it still felt like a mind game. Like, you still weren't sure, like, what he was trying to accomplish. Like, you weren't sure if he was in on it or if he was just trying to keep him there, trying to not give him his mom. It was just like all still secretive.
Yeah, it was pretty legit. Like, I thought it was done really, really well.
Even though Steve Coogan was funny as Hades in the movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, this version was
Hades.
It was just done better.
Yeah. And I liked how, like, going through the different levels of the underworld, like, you could see all this, like, the different, you could see it as like, oh, this is definitely like a full-on underworld. And I liked, like, Hades' castle was cool, like, upside down kind of thing.
Yeah, like we actually had well, Tartarus is supposed to be the space between the earth and the underworld, right? Or is Tartarus below the underworld?
It's supposed to be
below.
the bottommost. Yeah, it's the below. It's the like ultimate
Okay,
pit.
never
It's
mind.
the pit of Tartarus.
Yeah. Okay, never mind. No, because I was thinking that Tartarus was like in between, but I guess not. I don't know. God of War has me like confused right now.
I mean, that's a good thing to be confused with, but
Because at least the way that it's shown in God of War, I want to say 2, when you're on Atlas, I think the area they call it Tartarus. I don't think they say it's the underworld, which is very weird.
because he's under the underworld. Yeah, he went
no,
under
like the underworld.
Atlas is holding the
holding-
world.
Everything up.
Yeah,
Yeah, but he's punished to do it. But
and that he's in that space, which I think the game just says Tartarus. I don't know. I'm just really confused.
I mean,
my memory is
Kronos
just
was
really
also
bad.
there too.
Mm-hmm.
If you go to part 3,
Awesome fight.
Yeah.
that whole fight. Anyway, yeah, and then like that's where he's like, oh, but give me my cap. But that's the cap that Annabeth has.
He said,
And,
no
like,
cap, no cap.
Yeah, he said no cap, bro. This cap is bussin', so no cap for real, for real.
On God.
On God. And then on God, because then,
On Gods.
on Gods, because Percy fights Ares, and actually draws first blood. He does a really good job. And he fights him off. He strikes the deal, and then we get to the final end. Which, spoiler alert, we think the prophecy's done. Percy's a hero with his friends, and then it turns out he's still betrayed by his other friend. Luke.
Yeah, but you can't skip over like the meeting between him and Zeus. You can't skip over the actor,
you're right.
Lance Reddick.
Dude, Lance Reddick did such a great job as Zeus. Like,
Yeah, he was awesome.
This
the facial
I am command.
expressions.
I mean, I like Sean Bean from the movie, but Lance Reddick is awesome.
Dude, Lance, when he shows him like I have a deal, but he's like, you won't like he has this look of just like the balls on this kid, but also I gotta put this kid straight. Like, hell no, give me my bolt back. The war's still going on, and then that's when you get that really awesome moment again where Poseidon rolls up. He's like, no, I give up. Like, I don't care. Like,
He's like, I
yield.
surrender.
I
or
don't.
yield,
I just do not hurt my son. Like, I was like, damn, dude. Like, he doesn't care about his pride, which especially those three gods are very prideful. And he's just like, no, like that also, again, is a big testament to the character, to Poseidon's character. And I think it showed Percy, like, that he's more than what he originally thought his dad was about. That was, a great scene. And I liked, Olympus looked really great for it being on, like, a TV show. Like, whatever 3D backdrop they had, or whatever visual
It was the volume.
volume they were using.
Yeah,
like,
they
it
used the
looked
volume
great.
for a lot of the show.
Yeah, like, it looked really good. But yeah, man, great job by the late Lance Reddick. And then we get to the, going back to the, Anthony said the taste.
A betrayal. I'm not going to continue it.
Yeah, like, that swerve happens in the book, right? Like, at the end of the book? Zach?
Yes. Yeah, but it's a little bit different, like the setting and also when at the end it's done.
Okay.
But I mean, we'll wait until after we
talk about
the
differences,
thing, and then we'll talk about the differences. Yeah.
That being said, I don't know, Danny, how did you? It might have been maybe telegraphed, especially when like you have flashbacks with Luke, and then he's meeting up Luke at the end. But like, how do you think that landed within the structure of the show? Oh, he's muted.
I thought it was pretty good.
We got him.
I thought it was pretty good because
I guess he didn't like it.
He's like, you know what? No words. I had literally no words.
They were kind of building it up through the whole season with the whole, like, the prophecy and kind of like your friend's going to betray you. And obviously he didn't think of that friend, because I feel like
how a lot of prophecies work.
Like in the movie, they just kind of...
It's like we said earlier, because they were in camp for like 5 or 10 minutes.
Like, they weren't even friends.
There was no time. It was just, he was just the guy that said, "Oh, I'll have him be on my team." Like, yeah, he was nice.
Yeah, that
to
was
him,
it.
and gave him gave him the shoes, and that was it. Like, and the shield.
And the shield, yeah.
Like, barely a conversation.
Within 10 minutes, you're like, okay, this.
He's my best friend.
Yeah, like, you can't really tell. Like, they're really good friends. Like, in the show, in the 40-minute one episode that they're in camp, like, yeah, this guy's nice to him. They have the whole scene of like he's getting bullied, and this guy like stops the bullies. So it's like you already like this guy better because he's actually like making an effort to be like, I want to befriend the new kid on the block.
They also like trained together for a couple scenes.
Yeah, they showed it in a flashback in one of the later episodes.
Yeah, and he's like, yeah, you got to do this. Like, I don't know if I can. And that's where he's just like, yeah, dude, like you can, like you're able to do this. But I think, like, yeah, like, the swerve really happened. And I remember watching it with family, and they're like, no. Like, we were seeing it, and I was like, prophecy. Like, it's a whole Greek myth thing of just, like, the more you try to avoid it, how inevitable it ends up becoming either way. It's written really well. Again, invisible cap off to Rick Riordan, and being able to incorporate that better in the show than in the movie.
Zach, they didn't even have that in the movie. The invisible cap.
Oh,
was that part of the book, like the first book, as often as it was in the show?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say that Annabeth used the cap in the book in the same places that were done in the show.
Okay.
Like more or less.
Yeah,
Nice.
they didn't even
Yeah.
use that in the movie.
She boasts to be smart. Yeah. Very cool. And then we get that all.
Well, speaking
you know,
of like, real
set up.
quick, because you said
Yeah.
speaking of like, you were saying like, you know, invisible caps off, because then Annabeth shows up, takes her cap off, reveals herself, she's like, oh, I heard the whole thing.
Yeah. Surprise. Yeah. And she is like, oh, damn it, I gotta go. Because I have allied myself with Kronos. And, you know, there's a war coming. Aha, with the God of War.
A storm.
So, with all that together, I think it set up season 2, you know, hopefully Sea of Monsters perfectly well, which as of this, we're all recorded here together. Thankfully, it's been greenlit for season 2. I think
It was
the
just
leads
announced
great.
yesterday.
Yeah, the leads had great chemistry.
It got good
It's great.
ratings. It got pretty
Yep.
good ratings for one of their original shows.
Yeah, really happy for it. Like I'm all about it. I can't wait for it. It's a lot. It was surprisingly like, you know, great watch for all ages. I think. Great casting, fun writing.
Yeah, it
good
was
pacing,
definitely-
like Anthony said.
It definitely skewed more toward younger kids, but yeah, it was definitely more of a family watch. Even rewatching the movie, it's not really like, there's some parts that like it's not a kids movie. There's some suggestive jokes, a lot of
Yeah.
innuendo, and even some creepy parts. Like if you're a little kid, you know, seeing the, you know, like the Hydra, or seeing the Hades when he goes into like devil form, and seeing
I was gonna say
what's the other
God
one?
mode. Like,
yeah, God one. And then what was the other one? The Fury, like at the very beginning, that lasts like 1 minute of screen time, but like it's pretty creepy. Like, yeah, if you're a little kid, it might be a little scary. I think the movie's PG, is it? Or is it PG-13?
No, the movie's I think for sure PG-13.
PG-13.
Yeah.
They wanted to like.
Okay, if it is
It's
PG-13,
fine.
then it makes sense. But if it was PG, I'd be like, that's a hard PG, because there's some creepy stuff in there. And then like Grover like going left and right to any like pretty women that he sees in the movie.
Yeah, he's like, what to do, girl? Whereas
they-
like
they did not
he's
do
more
that.
wholesome in the show.
They did not do that
He's
at all
more
in the
like-
show, and it makes more
Or
Then
sense.
again, you know,
because he's like
satyrs
he's
are a
also,
little
like,
more like that in
way
Big
younger
Myth.
in the
Or
show.
like in
It
the
would look very weird for this kid, even though maybe the character's supposed to be older, but the kid looks like he's 14. So it looked very weird for like a
Yeah.
14-year-old to be like hitting on these like older demigods or
Okay.
older nymphs or whatever.
Two things I didn't know, I just realized about the first movie is that one, the movie's PG. Actually
Ooh,
PG.
I figured, man.
interesting.
They were
Okay.
definitely. I remember them catering it to like it was like, here's the next like family kids movie.
Like, it
from
was
Disney.
definitely like for teenagers.
Yeah, there's like a minigun and someone shooting stuff up in this movie. Like, what the heck? But then you
They're,
have
they're playing Call of Duty.
They also go
Yeah.
when they go to Hades, they're straight up like looking down and seeing like souls and fire everywhere. It's like, dude, kids can't watch this, man. It's like
right.
they're gonna be creeped
And
out.
then secondly, is Chris Columbus directed Percy Jackson?
Nice.
Go figure.
Harry
After
Potter.
Harry Potter.
Harry Potter. Yeah.
What was it during? When did the last Harry Potter come out?
Like,
No, well, remember he only filmed
Well,
the
he
first
only
two
did
Harry
the first
Potters.
one. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
that's
he
right.
was executive
David Yates
producer.
did, like the last 4 or 5.
David Yates did the last
David
all of
Yates
them.
was four.
That's right. That's right.
The last all of them.
All of them. The last all of them, not the first one. No, I'm kidding.
But to
Quaron
answer
did
your
the third
question,
one.
Harry Potter was, I think part 1 hadn't come out yet of Deathly Hallows. It came out later that year. For context.
Yeah, you're right. But dang, dude. But yeah, season 2 confirmed. Cannot wait. Before we go, Zach, give us a quick rundown of the differences between the show and the books.
Okay, so off the top of my head, I won't go in any order necessarily, but I will list the things that stood out to me. So the part where they go to see Medusa, the Fury never showed up in the book, but in the sorry, what did I say? Movie or show? In the show,
Said movie.
she does show up there at the house.
But not in the movie. She
Um,
doesn't show up in the movie at that part.
Well, she doesn't show up at all, other than that beginning part. And I don't even know they even mentioned her as a Fury in the
They
movie.
did later on in the camp when he mentions like, oh yeah, my one of my teachers attacked me. They're like, oh yeah, that was one of the Furies or something. It was a
'cause then
super
she
quick
never shows
mention,
back
and
up.
that was it. Yeah.
Yeah, she never shows back up again anyway.
No.
But in the show, yeah, like she shows up at Auntie M's, but in the book she doesn't. I think the next time they show up actually was when they were on a bus, and it was the 3 Furies that showed up on the bus and attacked them while they were on the bus.
In the show, right?
In the
Yeah.
well, in the book, and then in the show it was just her. Like she was the only Fury that showed up in the whole show.
Yeah.
No, that's not in the show.
Yeah, in the show.
No, there
it
were
was,
2 other.
It was Megan Mullally the whole time, wasn't
Correct, but then they had other Furies that weren't personified. They were just actual like winged creatures.
Yeah, it was like an
Remember that?
I don't
extra.
remember. I
Yeah,
don't
they
know what
were
episode
they were on
that
the
would've
bus. Yeah, it was like episode. When did they
it?
jump on the
It might have
bus?
been 3, episode 2 or 3.
3. Yeah, I think episode 3.
been. Was it really?
Yeah, it really was. Yeah, I remember
Yeah, I
that because I was like,
completely
"Oh, is that
forgot.
Megara?" I was like, "Is that Tisiphone?" Like, yeah, I played Hades.
Oh yes. Okay,
Yeah.
yes, I do remember. Okay, so
Anthony and I played Hades.
scratched that.
We know the Furies.
I scratched that last one. Another one that was a little bit different that I can remember was, so in the show they give that one I forget what it's called. It's called Nereid.
Naiad,
The
the water nymphs.
Yeah, the one that
Yeah.
they gave, the one that shows up a couple times throughout the
Yeah,
show.
that gives Percy the
'Cause
message
you have like
from
the
Poseidon.
naiads
Yeah.
that are freshwater,
Naiads.
and then the saltwater ones are like Nereids or
Nereid?
whatever they're called. Yeah,
Nereid, yeah.
She gives Percy 4 pearls. In the book, she gives him 3. Because the 4th one was meant to get their mother out, plus the 3 kids,
Yeah.
which they
And
did,
so
right?
the movie, they also did the 3, so that's kind of interesting.
They had the 3 pearls, but they had to go find the pearls.
Yeah, that was the
Instead
quest in
of-
the movie.
What?
Instead of them being given the
Interesting.
yeah, that was their quest to find the 3 pearls.
What is your name?
One thing I will say that I prefer that the movies did, or the movie did, than in the book and the show, was that they went to the Parthenon, because that made more sense than the St. Louis Arch.
They went to the
Because-
actual
or at least-
Parthenon? They actually went to
It was
Greece?
in Parthenon in like Cincinnati.
in
Parthenon, Tennessee.
Yeah, Tennessee.
Oh, that makes... Okay.
Yeah, that made a lot of sense. It's Greek architecture, and it was built in honor of Athena. In the show, they say, "Oh yeah, the St. Louis Arch was built as a monument to Athena," but they never
They
mentioned
show-
that in the book. Actually,
Did they
Funny
show
enough.
Athena in the show, or they just mentioned her? I don't remember.
no, I think they only just mention her. I don't think they actually
Because
show her.
Athena was in the movie.
Yeah,
No.
at the very end.
Well, okay, at the end,
Yeah.
yeah, but
Yeah, so in
Not
the
in
book...
that part, yeah.
Yeah. In the book, did they talk about the St. Louis Arch in the... Like,
Well,
talk
yeah,
about the
they went there, they had the whole
went there
fight
in
with
the
the-
book.
with the
Okay,
Chimera.
cool, so it's still a thing in the book. Okay, nice. Okay.
yeah,
think-
because that was another change too. So when they're on the train, that's when they meet Echidna and they fight the
Knuckles.
the Chimera briefly. And then they get off at St. Louis, go to the Arch, do the whole thing, and then he fights the Chimera again on the Arch. In the book, you don't meet Echidna and the Chimera until they get to the Arch, when they're on the
yeah.
elevator.
They
going
set her
up.
up. Yeah, they set her up in the train first, and then like, yeah, we're gonna
Yeah.
follow you. Which is cool. It's
another-
like, oh, you can't
another-
come in. Yeah.
Yeah, I so in the book she's disguised as like a fat old lady, and she has a chihuahua. So
God.
so it was so disguised as a dog, like in
Yeah.
the book, or like in the movie.
They just never showed the dog until it turned into the Chimera. Yeah.
Yeah. In the show they made it so that it was like hidden in its like little doggy bag. But all of this being on the train instead of at the monument yet. And then another change too was so the Sisters of Fate. In the book, they showed them only once when I want to say they Grover and Percy were coming back from the school trip to the Greek Museum where he got attacked by the Fury.
That's how it
They
was
showed the
in
Sisters
in
of
the
Fate
show, too.
there while the bus had broken down.
Yeah, that was in the show too.
Well, they
Correct.
showed the Sisters of Fate in St. Louis. I don't know if they showed her or showed them, earlier on. I remember
I think it
moves.
was just that one time. Actually, yeah, I think it was just that one time. They were like in the park, right? They were just like in the distance.
Yeah. Yeah, they were sitting there
like Annabelle
on the
specifically
bench.
sees them. She's like, "Oh crap, I know who those are."
Yeah.
Yeah, in the book, Percy sees them, and when he mentions it to Grover, he was kind of like he was kind of like the same reaction where he was kind of freaking out, like, and then
It's the
explained
fates,
like
we
what
gotta
the
run.
fates were
Yeah.
and everything.
Yeah. And
So
for-
that was another like change. So that was more like a time thing. They put it later on in the show instead of earlier on, which doesn't really affect how the show goes on anyway. Let's see what else I can think of. Oh, the fight with Ares. That one was like vastly different because in the show they don't have in the book there's a crowd of people that spot them on the beach fighting, but they're fighting with guns, or at least what they see is that they're fighting with guns instead of swords because of the mystical mist that is supposed to cloud humans from seeing what's actually there because their brains can't comprehend.
So in the book, are they just
American
seeing two
Magic.
guys going at it, like
Pretty
just
much.
like whip it? Here's that's
Like
nuts.
duck and cover.
So is it like the
'Cause, like,
Merry
the police-
from Doctor Strange?
It's I wouldn't know how to describe it. It's very. I guess you could say it's kind of like a version of the mirror dimension, but the mirror dimension is more like everything's kind of warped.
Yeah,
but, like-
the mist
like-
is more
like
like
actually works.
it's
like an
disguising.
illusion.
Yeah, it's
Disguising thing.
illusory, and it helps separate. No, it's trick. Yeah, delusion's not a trick, but it and also it's a veil that separates the mundane from like the mythical world, if I'm not mistaken, right? Is that how they described it?
Yeah,
in the show?
essentially, like when the Furies attacked the bus, I don't think they explained what it was that the humans saw, but they knew that something was going on. Like people were attacking other people, is what they saw, but they didn't see a Fury. They just saw whatever it was they were seeing. Again, it wasn't
People
explained.
getting angry and fighting on a bus, which is
Yeah.
probably might happen. Maybe
Yeah.
Not saying bus travel is bad or frowned upon, but
And then, so in that fight, yeah, people are witnessing a kid and a grown ass man fighting with guns. And what's crazy is that the world was like,
I don't think you can show
Apparently,
that on a Disney Plus
no,
TV
definitely
show.
not. Yeah, I think that's definitely why they alter that scene. But the reason why, because when they came back from the underworld, and so the pearls actually were bubbles, or they were when you activated it, it would encase you in a bubble and shoot you up through the earth back to the like the main world, the overworld. Oh, we lost Anthony.
oh.
Well, I'll
Anyway,
just
keep it going.
explaining that.
Yeah, keep it going. He'll come back.
So they go up through the underworld, through the Earth's crust and all that stuff, and back onto the surface. Whereas in the show, they teleport down and they just like pop up, right? But when they get back to Earth, there's apparently there had been an earthquake. A lot of the city was on fire, and people were running and screaming everywhere because of all the stuff that was going on. All while these two were fighting with their swords and guns.
Or swords, but
quote
not
unquote.
guns. Yeah. I don't
And
know.
the police were called and all this stuff, and Ares actually like blew up some of the police cars. Like all that stuff happened in the book,
Damn.
but not in the show. So it was all very different,
Wow.
and there was
How
nothing
do you-
with like.
How do you like the change from the show to the book?
I think I like that change a little bit better, just because I feel like it would just kind of take you out of it. I'm sure it would have been a very funny moment, like seeing like the perspective of the humans, where it's like what are these two crazy guys fighting with guns for? But it's a kid show. They're
Yeah,
not gonna-
these two guys. When it's just like kid fighting,
Especially with a
guy?
kid, yeah.
Yeah.
And how did you like the version in the movie?
Oh, you mean
wasn't
where
in the
Ares
movie.
wasn't?
there.
Ares isn't in the movie at all.
Not there at
yeah.
all.
Yeah, because like in the movie, the fight was replaced with Luke. So while Percy did fight a relative, and funny enough, the chapter in the book is called something about like I fight my like angry relative or whatever, or whatever the thing is called. It still kind of works because Luke is like a cousin in that regard.
Just a cousin because
to
of
Percy.
Hermes. Yeah.
Yeah, but in this case, it was a different kind of relative. It was more like Was it a cousin or was it like an uncle? Maybe, I don't know. But
Ares.
it still worked out.
So Ares is the son of Zeus, and
So cousin.
they're cousins. Yeah, they're actually first cousins.
They're first cousins.
Yeah, so it makes that
Or
fun.
half
And then
cousins.
they
First half
finish.
cousins.
They finish the fight. He's like, "You made an enemy for life." I was like, "Damn, buddy. Okay." Salty
Which
ass.
I think they said that in the book too, or something
Nice.
along those lines. So they at
Well,
least they
that
kept
makes
that
sense.
part.
Someone's gonna be vengeful as Ares. Yeah, like that makes angry that he's gonna be butthurt that he lost to a kid.
Oh, speaking of Ares too. So when we first meet him and they're at the diner and everything, so you know how Grover stays behind as like collateral, I guess.
The Grover mind games is what I called it. But yeah,
So in the book, all three of them go to Waterland, and they go to find his shield or his shield, I guess.
his shield.
Or his because Hades had the helm, but it was
Yep.
Ares' shield.
Yeah, it was
And instead of going through the tunnel of love, like in the show where it's Percy and Annabeth, and they jump out to go to like where the shield is on this thing, and he has to sacrifice himself. He turns to gold,
Yep.
and then Hephaestus comes out and does other stuff. Hephaestus doesn't even show up in the book. What happens is they see an empty pool with like a bunch of Cupid, or I guess whatever the actual like species is called, but a lot of Cupids sitting around, and the shield is in the middle of that empty pool. They go in, they take it, alarms go off, and the Cupids start to shoot arrows across to create like a net, so they can't escape, because Hephaestus in the book would set up traps to embarrass Ares and Aphrodite whenever they would go off and do their little escapades. So that was a trap set for them. And that's why Ares didn't want to go. That's why he sent them there. He was embarrassed to go because he didn't want to be
Outed
caught
as
in
an
embarrassment or
adulterer.
anything.
caught eating mayonnaise.
And then the pool started filling up with water, and then the water flowed in through the tunnel of love, and then that's when well, actually it didn't plan out the same way that it did in the show. In fact, the water was like rushing through, and Percy and Annabeth got stuck in the boat, so they had to jump off when it hit the thing, and it catapulted them and all that stuff.
Right enough.
And but they were also on camera when they were in the pool, because Hephaestus would broadcast, at least like that trap was like to broadcast to Mount Olympus to embarrass them in front of the other gods and goddesses. Which was not what it was in the show, obviously. But I thought that one was more interesting because it fit like how Hephaestus would treat those two.
Yeah.
For all that stuff.
Oh, no doubt. Yeah, makes sense.
And then the last major change that I'll talk about that I can remember is at the end. So when Percy gets to Mount Olympus, when he goes up to like where the throne room is, where all the 12 gods would sit, which a nice little detail in the book, they say that the cabins are in a U-shaped, and then the thrones on Mount Olympus are also in a U-shape to kind of reflect the cabins and everything, which is pretty cool. When he gets there, both Zeus and Poseidon are there. So Poseidon's already there. He addresses Poseidon first before to Zeus, and Zeus is like, "Oh, you're not gonna
Address your son, or
like
something
introduce
like
to me first. Like you're gonna go straight to your father, like a little like whimsical thing." And then that's when like he kind of gives him like a stern talking to, and forgives him for the bolt and accusing him and his father and all that stuff. And then he's like, "I'm gonna go cleanse this from like all the human filth that's been on it. But when I come back, you better be gone. Otherwise, you're gonna feel my wrath and all this other stuff." And then Percy and Poseidon have the little moment, and that was kind of it. He goes back to Earth. His mom is back. So his mom hadn't even returned from being in the underworld. She returned because Poseidon got her out of there. I want to say Zeus did. Zeus was the one that got her out.
Oh, because
in the book,
deal. Yeah. All right.
Because in the show she escaped with them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No.
So
No, I don't think she escaped with him. No.
Oh, she didn't?
didn't.
Okay, I can't remember. But she ends up back at the apartment, and then the package with Medusa's head was there. And Percy's like, hey, like, you know, if you ever want to get rid of Gabe, if you ever want to get out of here, just give him the box.
So messed up.
That's
But
awesome,
of course, in
but
both
messed
the
up.
movie and the show, they did it a little bit differently.
Yeah.
Where it's like he finds it in the fridge. Well, no, he finds it in the fridge in the movie. He finds it outside the door.
In
In the show.
the show.
But in the book,
in the movie, it's a post-credit scene.
yeah.
Joey Pantoliano.
Well, in the show it was also a post-credit scene, I believe. Where he shows up. She changed the locks on the door so he couldn't get in. He saw the box and opened it, and then he turned to stone.
And oops.
Yeah.
Right.
In the movie, when Percy was leaving to go to Camp Half-Blood, the way that it was set up, like how the mother was going to bring him like the dinner or whatever, was like, say, oh yeah, I'm gonna probably use the Medusa's head right now and turn him into stone.
Yeah.
And then she sold him for money to like an art gallery.
Oh, that's
but
in the
reported
book.
him as a missing persons
Wow.
That's in the book?
That's in the book?
in the book. Yeah,
Jeez.
Damn, dark.
yeah. Oh, okay. I actually have one more. One more.
Blooded. All right, last one.
All right, last one. So the ending with the whole reveal with Luke. So when Percy gets back to Camp Half-Blood, I think he spends like the rest of the summer there. Like, you know, he returns. They have the whole celebration, the fireworks, all that stuff, and then the next few weeks is like just him finishing up that summer at camp, having like done other stuff, other activities for the July, etc. And then on the last day, he runs into Luke. And they go for like a walk, down like by the shore or whatever, like some off part of the camp. And then that's when he kind of reveals himself as like the person that kind of started all this stuff, but threatens to like, I guess threatens to hurt Percy in a way with like some weird underworld scorpion thing. That was like crawling on his leg. That was commanded by Luke himself.
Ew.
Then Luke kind of like told him what his plan was, why he was doing what he was doing, and then he just kind of jumped into the portal and disappeared. Percy swatted the scorpion, but he got stung anyway, and then he like got back to the camp but passed out. They were able to save him, all that stuff. And then Annabeth left. Grover got his searcher's license, and then Percy had decided to go back home. I think is how it ended.
Yeah.
But in the book, on the same day that he gets back and they have the celebration for him, that's when Luke takes him aside. He tells him, but in this case, Luke was like, "Join me, and together we will rule the galaxy as fathers." No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. He kind of did that in the show too. He's like, "You should join me." Like, "Oh, I wanted you to do this." Like, this could have been that. But then, like,
Wait, the show or the
like-
movie? You mean?
I think in the show, like he was.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like in the show, he was saying
The movie wasn't. He didn't
The
say
movie
anything
wasn't
about
like that,
join
no.
me. He was just like, "I'm a bad guy and I don't care about the gods. I want to take
Yeah.
over."
yeah. In the show was exactly
Just in that
like
voice.
he
Just like that.
Exactly.
See,
The show, or you mean the
Nah.
movie?
in the movie, but
Yeah,
no,
he's saying
in the show
movie.
it was more like him saying like, "Yeah, you should join me," because he's following Kronos, and he's saying like, "Yeah, I believe in like what Kronos is saying."
He wants to get rid of the whole thing.
Yeah.
Like, he wants to
It's
start
like,
from
it's
scratch.
our
All the
turn
different
around.
gods.
Blow it
Yeah,
up.
like you see what the gods do to each other. Like you even said it. Like you want to be better. Like Kronos can do that. He's like, yeah. And then first he sees it's like, no, there's a way to change the gods for the better, not just annihilate everything. So that's
Yeah.
like cool conflict of ideas that comes up in the show pretty well. For someone who didn't
Yeah,
read the
because
book.
in the
Yeah, I get
movie,
it.
I know that Luke was saying how it's like, oh, it's our turn. Like the Titans had their era, the Olympians had theirs, and now it's our turn.
demigod time.
But in the
Sure.
show, it was
Sure thing, guy.
to get Kronos, like to piece him back together, and for like when the book they describe it as like to bring back the golden era, which was the time of the Titans. Like to bring that back because Kronos is going to build or create a brand new world. He's going to destroy all that oppose and keep the ones that will
That served him,
serve as
that
his like
helped
his
him.
servants and on his side and everything.
So is he gonna have an army of Teen Titans?
Nope. No, he won't. Please, nope. Nope, that's it. So pretty
give you that
exhaustive,
Had
pretty
to.
exhaustive list of those book to show
Differences.
differences, but still pretty good overall. Like overall, like I think it's definitely worth a watch if you want something fun, with a good story, with some good balance of lighthearted, but then serious storytelling, good coming of age story, especially if like you have younger people who want to watch something interesting. I think I'm all in agreement that we all recommend this, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Definitely a solid strike of the lightning bolt. They caught lightning in a bottle. I don't have any more lightning puns. I'm sorry. But definitely good job.
Ride the lightning.
Riding the lightning. I mean, lightning was ridden in a bag, but overall, like, good job by Disney. Hopefully, they can refine and make that tweak some things in season 2. Especially, we're talking about Sea of Monsters. If you know a little bit of the plot of the second book, then you kind of know what's going to be happening. Some new characters are going to be showing up, or existing characters will be referenced and brought in, and new favorites apparently in the series too.
Yeah, I would think that they should have at least. I mean, there's gonna be at least one new character for sure. He's gonna be a main character, and then they're going to bring back a character at the very end.
Yes,
of the season.
Hopefully, yeah, because it deals with. If you know anything about Jason and the Argonauts, then you kind of know what they're going to want to do with this.
That's the wow. Okay, hold on, because that just clicked. Because in the book, Kyron mentions how he trained Jason. I'm like, who the hell is Jason?
Jason with his Argonauts? Come on, dude. They also talk about the Golden Fleece and God of War.
Was that because Jason and the Argonauts? That was that God, what was it? Not the Iliad. It was the other one.
That's definitely not the Odyssey. No, that is Odysseus. That's different.
Oh, okay, never mind. Okay, then I'm thinking of something else.
Jason went on a separate quest, but still to grab that one mythical item, which don't want to spoiler.
Because I know one of them is to deal with the Cyclops, which is what this is going to be about.
So there is a Cyclops in the Odyssey, yes, and because
but not
he
Homer.
wounds, they wound
Well,
the Cyclops.
well, it's like the one of Homer, yeah. But
yeah, because
what's the Cyclops' name?
Oh,
I forget what he's called.
I don't know, but there's a derivative of it in the second Percy Jackson book. Anyway, we won't get too far into it. We'll wait. Hopefully, they'll start filming on it soon. A lot of shows and productions are getting back and ramping up. So great to see that happening.
Do you guys think there's gonna have any of the 3 original actors at some point within the show as playing other people?
Could you
That'd be
imagine? Could you imagine if Alexandra Daddario plays Athena?
That would be pretty cool.
That actually would be kind of cool.
I mean, by now, like at least her and Brandon T. Jackson, they're like in their late 30s.
Yeah.
And Logan Lerman, I think, is in his early 30s, so they could all technically play younger
god.
guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, like throw Logan Lerman in there as like, I don't know, Apollo or something. I don't know.
That'd be
A
interesting.
cameo.
Yeah, that would be interesting. I mean, they still haven't cast Pan, so like that's a whole nother subplot that's going on. That's gonna be
Dude,
exciting.
imagine.
Or
He was
Helios.
Pan. Could be Helios. I don't know what else they go in there, but yeah, man, that'd be exciting. With that, yeah, I cannot say just definitely we're not gonna be. We didn't thrash the show. Like it's actually well made. Taking good care. You could tell that the creator and writer of the books had his a fair say in what went on in the show for its benefit. Honestly, like you can't. It goes to show that like if you're gonna be true and true to the source material, it's good to have those collaborations with the people originally doing it. So, hopefully we'll see more of it next time with season 2. With that, folks, if you enjoyed this episode, the little rundown of this, you want to have more TV show rundowns or just our quick takes on what we like or what we think of certain other shows, feel free to shoot out your suggestions on your social media platform of choice. You have obviously Twitter, you have Instagram, Threads, and also, the YouTube comment section. throw it up in the YouTube comments. We'd love to read them, and we'll try to fit them in for next time, okay? With that being said, once again, thank you so much. Truly appreciative for tuning in and checking us out. You don't have to make any ritual sacrifices like they do in Percy Jackson, but we really, again, truly appreciate it. Thank you so much, and catch you guys next time.
Later.
See ya.
Use the volume less for season 2.
We'll be right back.